Hi everyone, my name is Sarah and I'm the Wildlife Education Specialist at Blandford Nature Center. And today I want to introduce you to one of our turtle ambassadors that permanently live at Blandford because of something that happened in their life when they were living in the wild. So this is Pebbles. And Pebbles is our female eastern box turtle, our only female. And the ways that I can tell that she's a female, you probably noticed that she's pretty young. So eye color is the only thing I can go off of right now. In the eastern box turtle world, males primarily have red eyes, and females will mostly have brown eyes. Every now and again you can find a female with red eyes or a male with brown eyes, but usually that holds true. Now as she gets bigger, I'll be able to use characteristics like the shape of her plastron. If it remains flat, Pebbles is a female. If their plastron grows into a curve, then we're looking at a male. Because females want that extra space inside for room for eggs. Now the reason why Pebbles lives at Blandford Nature Center is because when she was just a very, very young turtle, maybe a first year, a gentleman found her in the wild and he noticed that she was missing her front left foot. That was most likely chewed off by a predator because box turtles, though they get their name box turtle from their ability to go inside their shell and close it like a box, they actually can't do that until they're 5 years old. So that's how we know she wasn't even 5 yet, because she wasn't able to retract her limbs into her shell to hide them from the predator. If you're wondering how box turtles can close their shells, this part of their plastron, or their belly shell, is their hinge. Remember, not until they're 5 years old does that hinge start developing, like what you know of a hinge in a doorway that allows the door to open and close. This hinge allows the front and back flap of their plastron to fold up to close or down to open back up. But Pebbles clearly isn't afraid of humans because she works with us every day, so she doesn't feel like hiding from you guys. Once that gentleman realized that he wasn't allowed to keep Pebbles as a pet, he decided to release her into the wild. And the best place that he could think of that had a lot of natural space for an animal like a box turtle was Blandford Nature Center. But someone found him trying to release Pebbles and gave him the recommendation that he bring her to our front desk to allow our wildlife staff to take a look at her, and that's what he did. With Pebbles missing that front left foot, she wouldn't be able to bury herself in the winter, because turtles are cold-blooded, which means they've got to go somewhere to get their heat, and in the winter they can't just hang around in the forest where there's snow and ice. So they bury themselves head first, which means these front two shovels are really important in the winter for her. Another way that missing that foot affects her is her locomotion, the way she moves. She doesn't move as quickly or efficiently as she would if she had two full clawed front feet as well as full clawed back feet. So now Pebbles is an ambassador at Blandford to help us teach other people about box turtles. And a few fun things to know about them: these guys are bug lovers. In fact, I hope you've noticed how beautifully bright some of them can be in the wild. Scientists think a lot of that coloration comes from the things they eat, like wild berries, other wild plants, but especially centipedes. Box turtles love to eat centipedes. And imagine that bright red coloration in the centipede, that could be assimilated into the turtle's body. So thank you so much for letting me introduce you all to Pebbles the eastern box turtle. Keep an eye out this summer in the forest or the meadow for other box turtles that are living in the wild. This shell here came from a common snapping turtle, and that tells us that this turtle lived in the water. A few key characteristics that I can tell on this shell that tell me that this was an aquatic turtle is, number one, when I turn it to the side, you can see that it's actually relatively flat, not so much of a domed shape. And that's because when you're zooming through the water, you don't want to have a big bumpy shell that's slowing you down. So a smooth tapered shell is going to help you zoom through the water more quickly. But also the dark coloration. Imagine looking from above down into a pond or a lake or a stream, and all you see is this blackish brown coloration along with the rest of the substrate of the water. This snapping turtle is going to blend in. It's going to use its camouflage. Now let's compare that to the eastern box turtle. This is going to be a terrestrial turtle shell. And yes, more of that dome-shaped shell. And you'll even notice more patterning on the shell. And so that domed shape, along with the mottled patterning, is going to help this turtle to blend in with the forest floor or inside the meadow. That way they can look like a pile of soil, or maybe a bump on a log, or maybe a clump of leaves.